Father, let's start with the usual. Let's get the updates. We understand the reproduction rate is now below 1. Is there anything that needs to be contextualized there?
So we reported yesterday on a webcon, earlier today on a webcon, that the NCR, the R is now below 1. However, as we wanted to emphasize, and we will emphasize again, the current epidemic, the surge is still unstable. And one of the reasons why it's unstable is not every single LGU in the NCR is experiencing the same drop in cases. So the danger here is that some are dropping, but some will start spiking, and then eventually that one spike in one LGU will overflow to the next one. So it's wonderful news that the R for the entire region is 1, but not every LGU is consistently dropping. So we have to wait. Hopefully in the next few days, we will see, especially by the end of next week when we are supposed to evaluate the MECQ, that you have a consistent across the board, all 17 LGUs are showing decreases. That would be the ideal. And then we would want the R to be sustained below 1 because, as you know, our primary goal at this point is to decongest our hospitals. And it will take several weeks of sustained R below 1 to decongest those hospitals because they are, some of them are, reports of the news is they're over 200% occupied already. And then yesterday, you know, Dr. Michael T., one of our colleagues, reported that 30 of the biggest hospitals in our capital are substantially full, 100% plus full.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many? Okay. How many weeks is several weeks? I ask because, of course, the MECQ is supposed to last until next week na lang, no? April 30, and people are watching to see whether it's going to be sustained or if it will be downgraded and so on. So how many weeks
our modeling, we did some modeling to look at the decongestion, and basically the lower the R and the longer the R, the quicker it will take to decongest, right? So right now, if the R stays around 1, and Professor Guido's simulations are the daily cases would remain around 4,200 per day if the R remains at 1. What that would mean is that the number of cases would decrease to about 5 in the hospitals, the number of beds occupied would decrease to about 5,000, 5,500 by the middle of May towards the end of June. So they're going to decongest. The question is, how fast will the decongestion happen, and how dramatic will the drop be? So if you have 0.8, if the R drops to 0.8, it will decongest so that by the end of May, we will be at the levels at the beginning of the surge. So you see, it really depends upon how long we wait will correlate to how fast it will decongest and to what level it will decongest.
Professor Rai, you are the political scientist in the public affairs, public administration person in the group. Ironically, of course, every time the news is good and every time the numbers trend to something positive, that also raises the pressure on government, the public, the private sector, and even citizens to say, okay, pwede na ba? Pwede na ba? Do we open up now? How exactly how do we keep ourselves disciplined in the face of not even excitement, but even desperation?
You know, it's tough, no, for everyone. This terrible surge is taking too long to normalize, no, and to go down. And to echo what Father is trying to say, it will be problematic for us to prematurely open, okay, without the R going down to something like 0.8. The key problem is really our hospitals. They're all maxed out. And it's important for government to keep its eye on the ball, which is to try to slow this surge down and possibly reverse it. We're already in the midst of a possible downturn. Let's ensure that it becomes a solid trend, And just like the other experiences we've had before, when we work together, when we are patient, no, and when we focus on the objective, which is to bring down transmission, and cases tend to go down a few weeks after. And we're hoping that this is our models will eventually, the positive outcomes of our models will be realized. At point 8, we're good. We're good. If we can keep that for a week or two, you'll see the difference. And we can, a few weeks more of discipline will mean more months open and more lives saved, and our hospital system, depressurized now from this very, very toxic situation that it's in. Yeah, it's really hard. Like, in St. Luke's, for example, it's more than 100% in all of the St. Luke's hospitals. And this is about premier hospitals. In PGH, it's full. So, people are calling me up, the last few days, asking if I know hospital directors, if I can help. It's hard. It's hard. So we need to be patient. We're going to go down. We're there.
Yeah.
But we need to work harder to sustain it.